We got some new progress in the studio, man. We got a new camera here, got new mics.
I see you
Yeah,
because
bro.
you use a Skype. Now you on Zoom.
I had been on Zoom for a while.
Oh, okay.
But this Skype is just a crappy service. I don't like it. It doesn't work.
Told you.
I don't
Yeah.
care. It doesn't work. My mic would always become retorted. It wouldn't work at all for me. So
Have you experimented with Discord at all yet?
man, let me tell you something about Discord. The thing is, it's confusing as crap.
Yeah.
I find
You mean as to have a server or just to use it as a regular user?
to be the
Because it's
person,
different.
because I don't use it on a daily basis. I never really use it.
Yeah.
We were talking, last year sometime about, me doing the podcast over there. It'd be easier for a bunch of YouTubers to do it because, but my only problem is I can't find a good enough screen recorder. The ones I find
Yeah.
are for like gaming
Yeah.
computers. That's my problem. Is I think I could figure it out, but I just don't have a good screen recorder because most of them are for gaming computers, gaming laptops. So that's really my problem.
Overall, that's the only issue I have with Discord. I've been using Discord since 2016 or something like that. Like 2016, and you have to more so have workarounds for screen recording and audio recording on there. They don't have something on the actual software that's just like boom, record. I don't know why. They're probably working on it because they have everything else. I mean, they have everything else. But for content creation, like for what you're doing, Zoom is probably your best bet now. So,
Yeah. It's also the easiest. All you gotta do is just send a damn link and somebody click on it.
yeah. So, and the Zoom is super like mainstream as far as like people who don't use games and all that kind of stuff. Like whenever, when COVID was real bad, there would be like Zoom parties and you know what I mean? Everything was on Zoom. So
Yeah, and it's also like people are now using StreamYard, which you have to pay like $50 a month just to use StreamYard. And I'm not gonna make somebody that wants to do the podcast pay for a service that they probably don't have when Zoom is free.
I never even use that. I don't even know what it looks like.
I don't either. I've never seen it before.
Okay.
Well, man, look, we go ahead and jump right into this because there is like a damn storm about to hit in a couple of hours, and I want to make sure we get this in before we go. Because
all right, let's get it there.
Let's get it. So, real quick, have you seen I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but have you seen the trailer to the Hogwarts game?
Oh, bro, I was in there because a lot of times we do live reactions.
Okay.
Every once in a while I'll stream those, but usually one of the other guys that I do stuff with every day, Ricky or somebody will do it. So we're on Twitch, and like I love Harry Potter. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because that was one of the I caught up on all the stuff later. Like I caught up on Star Wars and
yeah, me too.
Lord of the Rings and all these things late. You know what I mean? I didn't watch Star Wars for the first time until like 2014, and I watched the original trilogy from like the 70s, and I've seen all of those. But Harry Potter was the first thing that I seen when it was happening. And we don't really have games that are like that. And we usually do, like the quality's not so great. They end up being like, MMOs and stuff like that. So I always wanted a game with magic that was like that. Mm-hmm. So the fact that that's Harry Potter on top of that, we're in there going crazy. And I try not to get excited because you know how these games do. You get all excited, game come out, you get Cyberpunk and all of that. But man, it was so cool, bro. Like I really enjoyed it.
Surprisingly, a game that came out last year that I was kind of hyped for, but I seen how the predecessor did, so I was kind of nervous, was the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I played Avengers, and I was like, I was so hyped for Avengers, and then it just turned out to be a real shit show. And then I was like, I'm going to play Guardians. I didn't expect much, but dude, that may be one of the best games of the year last year, bro. Yeah. And I never – you know me, I play games on easy or for beginner. Just because I know if I play regular, medium, or hard, I'm not going to enjoy it and I'm going to hate it and I'm not going to play it. That's the only reason
Right.
I do that. But I was on there playing Guardians of the Galaxy on like the hardest level there was. I mean, 100 Guardians was one of those games that I played on the hardest level, which is surprising because I didn't think it was too difficult. But and you 100% it was finding collectibles, especially with his mask, his shield. I thought it was a phenomenal game. It was fantastic for me, especially coming from a Marvel fan, because we get a lot of crap except for the Spider-Man games. So yeah.
Well, pretty much every superhero game except Batman and Spider-Man. So I'm on board with you because we talked about the Avengers thing. And I can tell you some of the worst things that could happen to me is if I get a code early directly from the developers and I'm like, man, this ain't really that good. So when the Avengers came out, I think our problem, and I think most players' problem was the potential on the game was there in the first 2 hours when they had all the cutscenes and the gameplay. And then after that, it just turned into like weird gameplay where you're like doing capture the flag versus a bunch of like enemies where you have to stand on stuff. And like they really went away from what the superhero video game experience is, because the cinematics and the voice acting is important. I actually was going to skip Guardians. I was going to skip it because, first of all, and you know, a lot of the times you see a game, and we've been playing games long enough, where you see a game, you're like, that's probably not going to be that good. Every now and again, you're wrong. So that's what it was for Guardians. When I seen the reveal, because I was watching the Square Enix event, again, we were doing the live reactions, and I'm like, and this was fresh off the Avengers. So I'm like, I'm not playing that, man. It looks generic. You know what I'm saying? And I'm big into the Marvel, the MCU, so I was really late to that as well. But I've seen every movie, everything that comes out in theaters, all the shows, I've seen all of that stuff. But I'm not necessarily familiar with how the comic books look. So the look of the characters, I was like, yo, why does Drax look like that? And then somebody explained to me that that's more in line with the comics. But I was like, man, I'm not playing that. So I let it, you know, man, I'm not getting it. I'm not playing it. I'm not going to try to get an early code because I know what they're doing. Then the game came out, and I'm like, man, whatever. And then it kept getting nominated for stuff. And I started talking to people. They like, yo, I played it, man. You got to play it. And then I bought it. And the game, it's an excellent, well-made game without all the extras. You get on, you play your chapters, you get a little break on your ship, you go to the next chapter. They're not sending you to a table to go level up and get gear over. And I don't think that's for our single player games. I don't care how they do it. It's just that doesn't work for me. So yeah.
No, I agree. It was and I also enjoyed how you stayed one player. You didn't switch around and you had to figure out their new moves. That was one thing that lost me about about the Avengers was so I got used to playing with Captain Marvel. Now I had to get used to playing with Hulk, who was ass. I mean, good God.
Yo, Hulk was so I like Black Widow the most, unfortunately. Who would have thought? Hulk he was so buns. Oh my God. I forgot. All right, man. So we're doing our worst video games that we've played. In our opinion. Mm-hmm. How many do you have? Okay. I have 10.
Okay, I do too.
These are what came to mind.
Okay, mine did.
But there's way more than this. Like
yeah.
Okay, I don't. Somebody will be salty. Like I probably got a couple on here, maybe one.
You know, mine are just coming from my personal experience. I'm not looking at the developers or the ratings that it's getting. I'm getting, did I find enjoyment in it, and if not, why? Do you want to go first? You want me to go first? We'll jump off our top.
I'll
10.
go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Keep in mind when we used to have 5 podcast members and we used to do the podcast every week, we do something called the Game of L's, which is you assign somebody else on the panel a really bad game and you have to play it for 6 hours. If you don't play it for 6 hours, there's a penalty that you have to do live on the next show. And it was really hilarious because the object was to really screw over one of your friends.
Right.
So unfortunately, I didn't think this was fair, but he gave me Pong. I don't give a damn what Pong has done for video games and the foundation of gaming. Pong is trash, bro. I had to sit there for 6 hours and move my arrow key up and down with no other objective at all. That was the worst 6 hours of gaming of my life.
You know what that game reminds me of?
Close to that.
That game reminds me of playing Snake on like the old Motorola phones.
I used to play Snake when I was in school because I used to catch the bus to work, and I lived on the other side of town. So when I'd be at the bus stop or on the bus, this is when cell phones were like, we didn't have good games. I would play Snake, and I was like, that was it. I'd rather play Snake because at least then, like, you know what I mean? Your snakes, you know, there's like something. Pong is so trash, bro. You can't even play that for 6 hours. 10 minutes, you're done. Trash.
All right. Some of mine are newer, but there are a couple on here that are older. But 10, I got to put my boy Crash Bandicoot in this because Crash Team Racing, the new release.
Oh.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. People are like, people go, this shit is just like the original. No, it's not. This is nowhere near the original. The response to the characters are slow. The slide jump doesn't work. The hop and turn are two different buttons when it should just be one button. And here is what one word to describe this game. That's why I hated it. Microtransactions. Mm-hmm. When I got it, I was like, oh man, they're rebooting it. I wonder if it's going to be as good as the trilogy. And then it turned out it was as trash as it was. And I didn't even finish the game. I hated it that much. And coming from a superior Crash Bandicoot lover, I couldn't make it through this game. It was bad.
That makes sense. Because I know you said that Crash is your favorite game of all time, right?
One of them, yes.
One, yeah. So do you remember they snuck the battle pass and stuff in that game too? Because when it came out, it didn't have that. And then they went ahead and snuck it in, which was unbelievable. Did that come out before or after 4?
That come out before 4, and that's why I was so worried about 4. Honestly, because I was like, man, they're gonna have it in there. Well, it's great to a certain extent until you want to break your fucking controller. Oh
no, it's hard. It's not, to me, hardest Crash ever. Not even close. And I think it's the best one as far as how the game is made and the level design and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Well, mine are in no order.
Okay.
You know, it's just okay. All right.
Mine are just an FYI to everybody listening.
Okay. Oh man. So back in, I had just started doing like walkthrough. I had started putting stuff on the separate channel. I think that was my first year. Because before that, I only had one channel, and I knew I wanted to make another channel, so I just had the name and I never uploaded it. And then I think one of the games I did that first year, I did some good games that year, but I played Star Trek. I think it was 2013. Bro, that game is so garbage. It was so unforgettable, and it was real like glitchy. I don't know why I even played that, because like I was not interested in Star Trek. That's another one of the franchises that I caught up on real late. I didn't catch up on any Star Trek stuff until like 2017 or 18 or something like that. That game, I don't even know how to describe it. It was super generic. I don't know who made the game. It was an all-around bad time. And I have a thing where I have to complete the game if I start a series on it. Okay. And I just had it was really bad.
I've never played it. But I understand the people's concerns for it.
You have no idea. Tell me.
My number 9, and here is how mine are numbered out. So I went from 10 to 5, and I did it as they're bad, but they're playable, I guess you could say. My 5 to 1 are the absolute terrible. There's no way I'm going to burn it. If, you have it. You should burn it.
Yeah.
My number 9, and maybe this is a surprise to people. Maybe it's not. I've got The Last of Us Part 2. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you what, the story is good. The graphics are amazing. But the reason I hated it, man, I don't like playing with the antagonist and the protagonist. It's like a movie. You're not cheering for the protagonist, so who would care? And then really the ending made the whole gameplay worthless for me. I mean, it's like spending, like if the Avengers, the new Avengers that's like 3 hours long, if that would have happened and, Thanos snapped his finger again, the movie wouldn't even be, it would be worthless. The movie would, that whole 3 hours we spent watching it would just be a worthless pile of junk.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Exactly.
I went back and platinum that. So I've played through that story about 3 times. I wasn't as salty on the second. I first played, I was pissed. But yeah. Okay. This is a classic. Everybody should know this one, even if you've never played it. I actually had the inconvenience of Superman 64. This is in like 97 or 98. I'm a little jealous of some of the younger guys for real, because they don't know that some of the trash that some of the older people have had to endure as far as superhero games. We had stuff like this, Iron Man, there's a Thor game, then there's a Fantastic Four. There's some trash. And I don't just mean like games that are decent but not great. I mean, they're just really bad games. Superman 64, I think, is the reason that we don't have a legitimate new Superman game now, because they could make one. Now that we see Suicide Squad being made, we've had Spider-Man come out. Batman really kind of set the bar in 2009. Superman was like, the objectives were weird. There's a section where you're like just like flying through rings. I don't get on there. I'm supposed to be like laser balling people or laser beaming people with my eyes, and like they didn't have, the game was garbage, man. I don't know what they did to this. But this is historically one of the worst games. If you look at like any list of worst games on any platform, you'll probably see this game on there. It's trash.
All right, man. Just a little FYI here. I'm gonna stop recording real quick. I'm responding to a text message. As long as we're good here by 11:15 your time, 10:15 my time, we'll be good.
Oh yeah, we'll be done.
Okay, cool. All right. So my number 8. Yours was.
Did you restart your recording?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I just said that to make a note so I can edit it out later.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I am one of those old souls, I guess, because my parents are very old school, to where I got into a lot of, like, for me, my favorite types of movies are probably the ones from the 80s and the 90s, just because my parents were growing up in that era, and, they showed me all those movies, and I like Gremlins and, Back to the Future became some of my favorite movies of all time. And I had a 64 before I had a PlayStation. I mean, I had a GameCube before I had a PS3. It was just because that's what they grew up on. They were like, it's like now, like when Netflix, they're just now learning how to use it.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny. They're like, so you're telling me we can watch whatever we want, when we want, in our bedroom with the Amazon Fire Stick. And I go,
wow.
Yeah. And now they're thinking it's cool because, like, sometimes if it like rains, we have very crappy reception with the Wi-Fi, and like they're like, we got rid of the cable, and now they're like, we can't even watch shit anymore because if the internet goes, they don't have nothing. But so yeah, no, I understand Superman 64. Never played it, but I have seen a couple of my cousins play it before, and it looked like something I didn't want to play. So my number 8. And maybe this, I don't know. Mine is the new Friday the 13th, the one that was released.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
The game is trash.
Okay, good. Dude, let me tell you what. The graphics and the kills are A tier. I mean, they're S tier. They're top. The best you can get. This is a game you can only play 2 or 3 times and go, okay, this is boring. This is very boring.
Yeah.
Because
that's exactly my criticism.
it's boring. Like the first time you're like, oh man, this is cool. You get to run away from Jason, or you get to kill the campers. We're cool. This game was so boring. Oh my God. I remember buying it and taking it back to GameStop, be like, hey, my game doesn't work. Can I get another one? And I'd go get something else. And I just remember it being so, and people were making this out to be one of the best games ever. And I'm like, this game is nothing. This game is bad.
You're literally saying everything that I've said about the game. So like when I first got it, I'm like, yo, this is kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? And you got all the kills and all of that stuff. But like when you're in a multiplayer, like setting, you want to feel like you won something. But like just like the game ending or some people survive, and that was it. That's your mode every time. I'm like, yo, this is garbage. I don't care what anybody says. The game sucks. So amongst my friends, I have a classification of games that I call streamer games. I hate streamer games. Most of them. Some of them I enjoy, but it's like, these are only games that you'll see people like streamers play together because number one, it's a way for get all these personalities together to play a game, which is cool. You get on there, you see like 5 of your favorite YouTubers or Twitch streamers playing the game. That's cool. But like the gameplay of these games usually sucks. These are games that you generally won't play by yourself, but you may. But like they serve a purpose, and that is for content creation. Friday is a streamer game. That game is terrible, and I hate to do this because I know people love this game, and I got a lot of heat for this when it came out. I swear to God. But I stand on it. I thought Among Us was trash from the day I played it.
Me too.
Matter of fact, that's going on my list. I didn't even have it on there. Among Us sucks.
I'll be honest with you. I couldn't figure it out. I could figure it out. It would be so confusing sometimes because you'd have to get these tasks done, but then it would just and my fat ass would always get voted out. I guess I wasn't smart enough.
It's basically you're playing like Clue or a whodunit type of thing, and it was cool. And the thing with the streamer games is they're cool the first couple times, but it's like, all right, I could do this, and I played it for like an hour. It's like, yo, this is kind of cool. But to see my friends. Y'all been on this hole for 6 hours. This game is trash. And like, now the kids come in, they playing it on their phones. And I'm like, yo, I don't know how y'all playing this game, bro. And the reason I say this is because when you play these games, everybody got a backlog with good games in there. You just never got around to playing them. Like my backlog is crazy. I know I got great games in my backlog. Right now, Elden Ring is sitting in my backlog because I haven't had a chance to play it. So, like, I could be playing that, but y'all got me playing Among Us and Friday the 13th and Fall Guys. Fall Guys is ass, too. Fall Guys is poop. That game is poop. But anyway, Among Us just knocked something off the list. So, yeah, Among Us is butt, man. That's a terrible game, bro.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's your number 7 then?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. My number 7 is Blair Witch. This game was boring. This game was boring, bro. Boring. It was supposed to be a spinoff of the Blair Witch movie, I assume. Where was the jump scares? Mm-hmm. Where was the chase scene? Where was all this stuff besides going to pick up pieces of paper? It was like the Slenderman game back in the day where you're going in the dark, the tree. This game was boring. I mean, the graphics were cool. It had a cool storyline if they could have succeeded in it, but that game, Blair Witch, it was boring. It was like 3 hours long. Like it wasn't even a long game, and I was like, you couldn't put that much effort in it, and you're making this bitch $50.
Yeah, they voted that, and I was so so I had to play it, and I'm like, and keep in mind, like we've played. Okay. Like some really good scary games. I mean, I'm sure you've played, possibly like the Resident Evils, the first Outlast. There's some good games. Like Blair Witch is not, that game was trash, man. And then there was that scene or that chapter where like they want you to like leave your dog, and then like you decide if you want to leave them there, and if you don't, you have to carry them for like 10 minutes before the game triggers. The next, that game is garbage. I'm right there with you. Okay. Okay. Which one? I mean, since we're sticking to the, well, I'm gonna use your theme as another newer game. And it has to be said, NBA 2K21 It's garbage. That's not the newest one. That's last year's game. Why is the game garbage? Number one, anytime a new console comes out, you're already excited for the possibilities. And then when a franchise has a history of bringing out great games every time a new console comes out, that's a tall order. For example, NBA 2K14 came out for PS4. We ain't never seen graphics like that on a basketball game before. They had good music on the trailer. The gameplay looked good. The animations, it looked good. And the game was great. So when 21 comes out, we're like, yo, this is about to be the one. That first of all, 21 PS5 Xbox Series X was so bad that most of the content creators went back to the PS4 version of the game, if they played it at all. The gameplay was terrible. There was a particular build that the entire community had. There was no parity in the lineups. You would get to the park or to the rec, and you would see scoring machine, or I forgot what it was. There was a 6'7" power forward that was better than a point guard. It was better than everything else, and it had like 85 badges. It was absurd, and that was, you had to deal with that the whole year. The game was poop. Terrible game, man. 2K, and I really genuinely thought they should have been ashamed of themselves. I don't think 2K has been right since 2K22. It's better than 21, but it ain't better than some of the other ones. 21 trash, man.
I will take your word for it. I've never played them, but I'll take your word for it.
Stay away. Stay away.
All right. So going through my list, I realized I misnumbered and I missed one. So I'm going to throw one at the end. Not sure which one I missed here, but I'm going to put Far Cry Primal as the next one. You know, and everybody knows, I hated this game, man. Far Cry, it's between Far Cry and Crash Bandicoot is one of my favorite game series of all times. Because, look, when you go into Far Cry, the taking over the bases is one of the funnest things to do, even the stealth. Here, taking over the bases was hard. Even with your animal, the stealth was like you would get discovered in a snap of a finger. I mean, it was now I understand the weapons are limited in the Stone Age, but you could have, it's a video game. It's like a movie. You can do whatever you want to do. Whatever the fuck you want to do, you could do in a video game. They could have gave some cooler, better weapons. I feel that it's tedious. It's tedious in that it lacks what the other games have. It got boring for me, and it got very irritating quickly. Even with the I got some notes I'm trying to look after. You know, crafting. Crafting is one of my favorite parts of the Far Cry games because they do it differently than other people. But this just seemed that they rushed this game out. So Far Cry Primal.
They did. I don't know if you know this. Do you know they copied the map from 4 for Primal? The exact layout of the map. They just changed what the assets look like. Did you know that?
I do know that, but I didn't know that they rushed it out as quickly as I think they did, as I feel they did.
Ubisoft, they're very nice to creators, but there is a lot of rushing with their games. Did you play the new? I know you played the new Far Cry.
Yes,
I hope you did.
I did. I still think Far Cry 5 is my favorite. I can't.
I like 5.
6? Then was it 6? Yeah, Far Cry 6. Let me tell you, that damn game is long. Damn, that game is long.
They're all like that.
No, but not like this
it's
one.
not as fun on this one, so you notice it.
I feel like it's tedious in this one too. There's a little boring, but let me tell you, I'm not going to spoil it, but that ending for Far Cry 6, that made the whole game worth just that. And that character, was it Castillo? That guy was absolutely crazy.
Carlo Esposito. I forgot what his name is.
Yeah.
On the game. I can't. But I really want them to because that's real quick. I mean, because I know we gotta move on.
No, you're
cool. I want Ubisoft to take most of their franchises back to the original core that they had and build on that. They've seemed to take all their franchises that we love into a direction which seems so far away from the reason that we love the games. They done it with Assassin's Creed. They turned Assassin's Creed from a stealth game into me being just a god. I run into an area with 40 people, and stealth is it's pretty much worthless. There's no reason to do it, and I just kill 40 people and go to lunch. There's no need to be stealthy. Far Cry was all about being out in the wilderness and hunting. Like, you remember hunting the legendary animals and stuff, and then getting stuff to craft bigger sack. They took that away from us. Like, I know the animals have become, they're just not really a part of the experience anymore. And I really missed that I played 3 and 4. Those were my first 2. And I really love that about the games. And, it would be a little bit random. You'd be out there taking out an outpost, land in the bushes, and like a honey badger. Honey badgers are ridiculously strong on that game, which is come and just like ruin your day. Like, I miss that. But instead, it really turns into like a military game. And I want them to, I want them to fix that. But I got to save this one for a little bit. This is easy. Everybody should have at least heard of this game. This is another game that I was forced to play via podcast challenge. Ride to Hell Retribution. Terrible game. The voice acting is so bad that if you watch a YouTube video on it, you might think that somebody is doing a voiceover and it's a joke, but that's really how the voice acting sounds. The motorcycle sounds were like really loud and distorted, and you couldn't hear the characters talk. The story was bad. If you really want to know what's wrong with the game, Angry Joe that's one of my top 3 Angry Joe reviews is Ride to Hell Retribution. So when I got assigned that, I was not happy about it. Combat's bad, the shooting's bad, the game has no redeeming quality. Zero. There's nothing good about it. There's not anything from that game I could say, at least they had. They don't have it. The game's trash.
Yeah, Angry Joe and Kadikarus. I don't know if you know who the Kadikarus guy is. But
that's the Crash Bandicoot God. Is that him?
Yeah. That he was also saying. That's why I never played it. I was like, I don't know if I want to. So
don't do it, man. I'm telling you.
I'm thinking about switching some of these up here because I'm looking at my bottom ones. No, I'm not. I'm going to stick with it. I've got it. The next one is The Simpsons Wrestling. Have you ever played that, man?
No. No, I didn't even know they had a game for that, dude, bro.
Do not. Dude, this game is choppy. Like, it looks like they made the characters with origami. Like, you will literally be sitting there. I'm going to use my phone for an example. You'll literally be sitting there, and you'll be doing this the whole entire time. You're not even wrestling. You're basically just pushing buttons. It's a waste of breath, I think, just to even put that on the list. It was.
Is that on PS2 or?
I think
Xbox
it's
360.
And maybe original PlayStation.
Really?
I'll look real quick.
I had no idea. What?
You should check it out yourself. But I'm telling you, it is it's not good at all. It's on the original PlayStation.
I got an idea. For the next time we do a podcast, we should do hardest games.
Hardest games.
Hardest game. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna write that down. Hardest games. All right.
I got some stuff. Oh, this is on PS1.
Yep, original PlayStation.
PC. Dang. It's a little late for the original PlayStation. This is in 2001. Okay. I won't be playing that.
You should just go look at some of the gameplay on YouTube, and you're gonna realize you're gonna be like, wow. Like, do you remember how the oh my god, what is that game called? Kind of how the original Spyro looked back in the day. Like, it was very choppy, but you expected it because it come out in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was like that, but high definition. It was like that, but high definition. It was terrible.
Oh my god. I see.
You see it? How bad
it's
it
not
is?
Smooth at all.
No, it's not. And the gameplay's just like it looks. Like, it's not fun. It's not anything.
The ring is huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. The way he ran against the ropes. All right. Unfortunately, you know, people tell you, oh, we played this game back in the day. It's cool. You should play it. I'm like, all right. And some years went by, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finally play this game. Because when it came out, I didn't really have money for all the games I wanted. This is back in the PS3, Xbox 360 era. And I kept seeing, I remember the commercials and all that. Like, you know what? Let's play Kane and Lynch.
Ooh.
So I was like, hey, you know what else? I've never done a co-op walkthrough. Let me hit up my homie Trey. Let's do our first co-op walkthrough. People will love it. They will have no idea we're getting ready to do this. So we get on the 360 or the Xbox One or Series X, because we have all of them or whatever. And we needed to make sure the game was backwards compatible and the online servers were on. So we tried to play the first game. We could not. So I was like, all right, well, he's like, okay, let's try the second one. Like, all right. Oh, this one works. And we was able to play this one on the Series X, which was cool. We was able to play a 360 game on Series X. Oh, my Lord, bro. That game, the online alone, and first of all, it's a Square Enix game. Yeah, I don't even know what happened. The connection is so bad on there. What you see and what your teammate sees is never lined up. Mm-hmm. So like on your screen, you may have killed somebody. On their screen, the person will just be standing there like this, like in like the little model, the developer model Jesus pose. The lag, the camera has this, by default, has a shake thing that's supposed to be real dramatic where your camera always shakes. We turn that off. The story sucks. The gameplay is some of the worst that possibly on a serious side. As far as a shooter, maybe the worst gameplay I've ever had. The cover system is so garbage. Keep in mind, we played on the hardest difficulty, which means you could be 1 to 2 hit at any time. When you go to revive your teammate, so on any other game, if you're down and you crawl to me and I'm in cover, I'll revive you. On this game, as soon as you're done reviving your partner, your player stands up out of cover and gets shot, and then he goes down. Like they didn't think of the little things. The game sucks. Terrible. Kane and Lynch 2, man, get it out.
The next one, I guess I had to have been younger when I was playing it, but it's the Bad Boys game. The Takedown.
Oh, I had that as well. Okay. We're going to share that one. I played that 2 years ago.
Let me tell you, bad graphics. There's a Tyrone looking motherfucking Will Smith. Okay.
Yeah.
The voice acting is terrible. The game. The gameplay is just about as bad as it looks. It's not good at all. Not good at all.
That voice acting, dude. I don't know who those guys were. I am gonna say it. I 100% think that game is better than Kane and Lynch. I know people will not want to hear that. That game, really? Kane and Lynch is butt, man.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I would, because at least Bad Boys worked as intended. It wasn't good. Just that game was garbage.
Yeah.
The whole story was stupid. Like you know, there was like a property damage thing that didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just like the game's terrible. So we'll share that. And then I only had 2 left now because we both had Bad Boys.
Yeah, I do too.
Afro Samurai 2. I've never played the first one. But so basically what happened is I went to my first PAX in 2015 in San Antonio. So we're walking around, we're talking to game devs and all these different people. And this guy's like, hey man, I got Afro Samurai 2. He's like, y'all be the first people to play it. And I'm on there and I'm playing it. And I go through the floor. And I'm like, I mean, I know this is like a demo, but I ain't tripping. But like, it was awkward because the dude is like, let me go ahead and reset you, brother. And like, It reset me, and I'm just like,
He's trying to
I know
save
people love
himself.
the first game. Yeah, I'm like, people love the first game, and I've seen gameplay, and it looks good. And I'm like, there's something up with the second game. It felt weird. The combo system was trash. Then the game came out, and this never happens, or rarely happens. The game was first of all, sidebar, never take a game that we've been playing or anybody's played that's a normal game, and then when you bring out a sequel, make it episodic. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants that. It's a bad idea. I hate that, right? Just imagine you getting Crash Bandicoot and each island is episodic. Like, I don't want this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to wait until the entire game is finished and play it a year later because I'm not going to sit here and enjoy myself. And then when the next island comes, this next part comes out in May. No. So they did that. They was going to turn Afro Samurai 2 into an episodic game. The game was so bad that they took it off of every storefront and refunded everybody and apologized, and the studio closed. Just a tornado just came through, just ruined their whole business, bro. The game was garbage, man. Games never get people. We don't get refunds of gaming like that. Well, we do now. We didn't used to. That game was garbage, bro. And it was so buggy.
Well, I'm going to save the one that I got my money back quick. That was making my PS4 fail and have to reboot.
Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, number 2, next on my list, is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5.
Yes.
Do you remember? Dude, I would be sitting there on a skateboard. The motherfucker would fall off and he'd go, "Oh, you failed." How? I'm just sitting on the board getting my instructions for what to do. And he would go, "Try again. You failed." I'll go, "Okay, something's wrong with my controller." You don't know. You're trying to think of all the things. Get a new controller. You failed. And then you start seeing everybody saying, you're falling off your skateboard, standing there, not moving. And it just turned out to be a cluster F from there. It was – the character design was terrible. The voice acting was bad. And the gameplay was not fun at all. I think I don't remember – I think the third one, maybe I don't remember which one it was that I enjoyed a lot. And this one just made me say, I hope Tony Hawk does not create another game at all, ever in his life. This was bad. I hated this so much.
I'm right there. I spent $60 on that game on day one.
Yeah, me too.
I was so mad because we come from. I played the original Tony Hawk games, which were the first of that kind of really well made skating game, and then we started to get the Tony Hawks that had cool little stories and funny people that you could talk to, and they would make the objectives make sense. You know what I mean? And you had to like replicate some of the moves. That was cool. Mm-hmm. And then you could have these absurd trick lines and all of that stuff. That's what we came from. Then Skate came out, and Skate was another type of game that was more realistic, but people was doing cool stuff on there. You could get off your board. So when they announced 5, I'm like, yo, finally, because Activision stopped making Tony Hawk games. Like, they put out 5, and then I got it. Couldn't get off the board, randomly falling off your skateboard and ragdolling, like collecting random ice cream cones with no real rhyme or reason, really no cool people to talk to around the city or nothing like that.
Skate was cool because you could do stuff you couldn't do in Tony Hawk. Like you get off your board and go punch a bitch in the face if you wanted to. I mean, honestly.
It was in the Hall of Meat on Skate was fun. You jump off your board and just try to crunch yourself up and all that stuff. Yeah. The thing about Tony Hawk is what I've heard is the reason that game came out is because they were getting ready to lose the license or patent or whatever it is for the game.
They should have lost that shit.
They hadn't used it. But the remakes were good, right? I didn't get them.
I didn't play
my backlog.
I didn't play them. I didn't play the remakes.
The remakes are. I played the demo. The remakes were very, very good. Okay. Very good. So they did do well there, but the gaming community has a habit of asking for stuff and then not supporting it, and then the studios get put on other projects and we never get them again. I'm really concerned with the possibility of a Tony Hawk and another Crash. Crash 4 did not sell well, and the trilogy sold well, but 4 did not sell well, and I don't know if Tony Hawk did either. So buy the games. Well, now that Game Pass exists, it's gonna be hard to get people to want to spend $70. I have one left. You ready?
Go ahead.
You ready?
Go ahead. I wonder if it's going to be the same one that I got, because obviously it's been spoiled.
Well, this is the newest of the games. To the end of last year. Is yours from the end of last year?
Ooh, maybe it came out during the pandemic. I don't know what year it came out.
Okay, no, this is
it's newer. It's older than the Guardians we were talking about, but the newest one on this list.
Oh wait, okay. You wouldn't like this. I don't give a damn. Call of Duty Vanguard's terrible, bro. Terrible.
Jesus Christ,
terrible.
Dude, that's on my honorable mention.
Terrible.
That is on my honorable mentions of worst games,
bro.
Look, it was.
I've been playing COD. So my first Call of Duty that I owned and played was Modern Warfare 2, 2009.
Me too. I think on the Xbox 360.
But that game was some nonsense with noob tubes, one-man army, commando knife, all the stuff that we know is trash about the game.
Yeah.
All right, we know that's there. Every weapon was overpowered except one, the F2000, all of that. I played every COD. I bought every COD for a long time. I even went back by Call of Duty 4, and I played Call of Duty 4 exclusively for damn near a year. Great game. Played World at War. Love Call of Duty, PS3, Xbox 360. PS4 started to take a little downtime for me. And Advanced Warfare came out. Wasn't really messing with it. Black Ops 4 came out. Loved it. Infinite Warfare came out. I skipped that whole game. I didn't buy it. They tried to finesse us by pairing it up with Modern Warfare Remaster because they knew that's what people really wanted. I didn't buy that either. And then World War II came out. You're killing me with this, but I'll play it. Vanguard is poop, man. And the game is, it's just Call of Duty the way we know it is done. Pro players can't say the game sucks. As soon as they do, they get fined. It happened to Scump. He said Modern Warfare was counterintuitive to everything we know about COD. There was no dead silence on the game and all that. Vanguard, this is what I'm going to say. Vanguard is so trash that Activision, one of the greediest companies to ever exist, decided that they're going to take a year off next year of a Call of Duty game. Now, somebody can say, well, it's because of the Microsoft deal. I don't give a damn what the reason is. Activision never skips a year. Vanguard that game is garbage, and I'm not talking about Warzone because Warzone has saved Call of Duty. I'm talking about 6v6, 9v9 multiplayer. What we came up with on COD is garbage. Warzone gets all the attention, and that is what people watch. Multiplayer is dead. It's garbage, bro. It's very disrespectful. I like the campaign. It was decent. I like Modern Warfare's campaign best, but Vanguard's trash, man. Terrible video game. Shouldn't exist.
I agree. I enjoyed. I actually thoroughly enjoyed World War II. I thought it was a different take, but I thought Call of Duty kind of went off the rails when I think it was Black Ops 3, maybe when you had to shoot the aliens and the robots. I kind of thought I thought that was. I said, okay, I see where this is heading. They're running 4. Whichever
3.
I don't know.
Whatever it was. Go ahead.
Whichever one. I said, okay, I see what's happening here. They're running out of ideas, so they're giving us this. But no, I agree. Did you play Vanguard on the PS5 or the 4?
PC.
Okay.
Where all the cheaters live.
Okay.
By the way.
Now, do you own a PS5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they worth it?
I got all the coffee. PS5?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna be honest. Being an early adopter of a console is very overrated, especially if the games are the same as the last gen. I don't regret my purchase. I'm not saying that. But every game that I've played is available on PS4. Every Xbox Series X game you played is available on Xbox One. Now, I get wanting to get a new console, but, and I'm saying this because of not retail prices, but the resale price. retail, you may feel good about a PS5 and a new Xbox. But the resale price of $700, $800, $900 and up, especially where it was early, you're not going to get that much out of your platform. You're not.
Yeah,
games on PS4.
Yeah, I think next month or the next couple of months they got these new games coming out. And they're only exclusive to PS5. So like the new Spider-Man is only PS5. Is
that this year though?
That's this year. Yeah, it's this year coming out.
They got a release date.
They said late They said late 22.
I think that's gonna get delayed, bro. Because think about it. Hell yeah. There ain't no way they're gonna do Horizon, Spider-Man, and God of War in the same year. I think that's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea unless you got some craziness lined up next year. You don't want to put all that stuff out.
Right here.
You want to get some of your other projects out.
Release date, October 22nd, 2022. PS5 Insomnia Games exclusive to PS5. Platform PS5, Xbox Series X. Over there. I don't know if you could see it, but October 22nd.
Man, they ain't no, bro. They're going to delay that game.
Okay.
When's God of War coming out? Because we don't have a release date for that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How they gonna put out? It just say 2022.
September 30th.
What's the new Spider-Man called?
The new God of War. It says a further report pointed to God of War Ragnarok launching on September 30th, 2022, according to a database leak from PlayStation.
Man, I hope. I would love to play both of those games, but I'm very afraid that we'll be lucky to play one of them things.
Yeah. I got to I still have my PS4. I can't spend $1,000 on a console, man. That's just expensive.
And I forgot Wolverine was being developed by Insomniac as well.
Yep. I saw that too. All right, my last one, Chase. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
This bitch crashed my system, crashed my PlayStation 4, got my money back. I bought another one just to crush that bitch up in pieces. Cyberpunk 2077. This game should be called Cyberbug 2021. I hated this. Dude, there was a point in the game where you're supposed to pull your gun out and shoot at a helicopter or something. I couldn't pull a gun out.
Same thing happened to me. Were you in the car? I
was in the car going down the highway. I couldn't do nothing.
Yes.
For 2 weeks.
Yes.
I couldn't do anything. And at the ending of the game, dude, I have never had a video game end in the middle. It's like it was from the half point, and something had happened, and it said your PlayStation has to do something with the game or whatever it does, right? It did
rebuild the database.
Rebuild the database. It rebuilt the database. And all of a sudden, I was at the end of the game.
What?
I'm telling you, my shit was flawed. I missed the whole point of what Keanu Reeves' character's there for. I caught up later after I read. Damn, that would have been nice to know playing the game. Dude, that put me in a bad mood just talking about it. I cannot stand that game. Keanu Reeves, I was like, man, the trailers were phenomenal. I think the game would have been one of the best games of the year, despite. Now, if they could have left it out maybe another 6 months, maybe a year, fixed everything instead of rushing this shit out, because it had been due, 5 years before it come out, and they kept pushing it back and working on it. I
guess so.
I can't even talk about that game without stuttering. It literally was the worst experience playing a game. I would much rather play the E.T. on the Nintendo 64 than play that crap.
E.T. Remember there was like the urban legend that it was buried somewhere. And they never found it. And then a couple years ago, they actually found all those games that was buried in the landfill.
You talking about? Did you watch that show on Netflix? I talked about that. The video game.
I seen this on YouTube.
Okay. Well, there's the show? Oh, I don't know what it's called. It's on Netflix, but it's all about the history of video games. Like it goes from Super
Okay, I'm gonna
Mario,
watch that.
how that was created, and then it goes into the ET game being the worst game of all time, and about how it's buried in this time capsule because it was so bad. Or they even interviewed the guy that created the ET game, and he's like, "I'm the creator of the worst video game in the world." It was
They thought the game was going to sell so many copies that they printed up so many games, and the people didn't buy the game like that, and they had nothing to do.
let's be honest, the movie was not as good as everybody says it is. It's a good movie, but it's not phenomenal. So I mean,
That's another movie I saw late. I saw E.T. in like 2013, something like that.
Oh wow!
You know what it was? A kid actor. If you ever get a chance, I don't know the kid's name. I mean, obviously he's super grown, but he was a kid at the time. His audition for the movie
where he was crying in it, where he was literally crying,
yes.
and Steven Spielberg goes, "You got the role, kid. Go pack
the job,
up,
kid." Yeah, he's a beast. But getting back to Cyberpunk real quick before we wrap it up.
Yep.
I experienced it's because it's on YouTube. Part of the reason I started a YouTube channel is because weird stuff would happen on me on video games and people wouldn't believe me. That's one of the reasons why I started a YouTube channel, because stuff like that. I'm in the car and I'm looking out the window in a chase scene, and there's these drones following me, and I have no gun. And then something falls on me, and my character just explodes. And that happened for an hour. I had 3 progression bugs, which means I could not play the game until a patch came out. Some of these patches didn't come out for weeks. So for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I couldn't play the game. And it was just, they lied to everybody. 2 years prior to the release of the game, they had said that the game was fully playable from start to finish, and it was going to take 2 years to polish the game. They took features out that we were promised, car customization, wall ratting, and all that kind of stuff. They took out the real cutscenes for most of the game. It was a lot more. They do this thing on video games where a lot of the cutscenes or all the cutscenes are just zoomed in from the camera that you use to play the game, and they're not really pre-rendered. There was a lot of problems with that game. However, if the game was actually, if it didn't have these problems, the game would have been a really good game. Story was good. When the DLC comes out, I'm going to get the DLC. I expect them.
I don't give a shit.
Better.
I don't give a shit. I'm not.
Yeah. but for anybody watching, now might be a good time to actually get the game if you was waiting for the bugs. I think everything's fixed. They just brought out a big patch. But they had big shoes to fill, and they really came out as super pro gamer for years, going after other dads and all that, and then they went ahead and did that. Witcher 4 is on the way, by the way. They said like yesterday or something. So we'll see how that happens.
Well, look, man, we got a few more minutes here. So I want to ask you a question. I know you're a big movie fan like I am. Yeah. Is it just me, or was the new Matrix as bad as I thought it was?
No, it was.
Okay.
It was. They trolled us with the commentary about reboots. It was a bad movie. It was not, and I'm not a harsh critic. I enjoy I go to the movie theater almost every.
Me too. I see
everything. I don't just go for action movies because people, that's all they do. I went to see West Side Story. I'll go see that, and then I'll go. I see everything in the theater. But no, that movie was poop, man. It was not a good movie at all. It was they did not do that. Justice.
To me, it was bad because one of my favorite movies of all time with Keanu Reeves is the John Wick movies. Those movies are so well done. They're great. The producer of that movie was a producer of The Matrix. And Keanu Reeves was on as executive producer. And I'm like, I feel embarrassed for you guys because you gave us this. You guys are the bosses of the movie. Give or take. You can it's that right, the script. But what did you think about the Batman? Have you seen that yet?
Of course. I enjoyed it. I mean, because when I watch movies, and I've said this on my podcast, I don't just watch for the story. Obviously, that's part of it. I look at lighting. Yeah. I look at cinematography. I look at people's performances. A lot of that stuff I get impressed with, because if you take, for example, the second Star Wars trilogy, which got a lot of flack after the original,
but they were okay for what they were.
They weren't bad, but I really like Ewan McGregor's performances, Obi-Wan and stuff like that. Like I think he like really kind of carried that movie. It had Natalie Portman, who's a great actress, but they didn't get their best out of her because it was poorly directed. So I look at all that stuff. That Batman movie was really well acted, and the thing is, I don't want to spoil it, but okay, how about it's his second year as a vigilante. So he is not actually what we know as Batman yet. He's a noob. He's kind of trash. Because he doesn't have all his stuff, all those cool gadgets and all of that. Very limited gadgets and all that kind of stuff. It is more of a detective movie, which I don't have a problem with. But I enjoyed the movie. I expect that because I think they're going to do a trilogy. That by the end of the trilogy, people are going to love the first movie more. But I liked it. I didn't have a problem with it. And Colin Farrell, man, I had no idea that was him.
I didn't either. To the credits.
There's a Penguin show coming out. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have you watched Peacemaker on HBO?
No, I'm not. I didn't think I was going to watch it. I seen that
really
Suicide Squad in theater. I mean, should I watch it? It was just
you didn't like the Suicide Squad, the new one.
It was fun. I didn't expect it to be a phenomenal movie. It was fun. I really enjoyed the movie. But like, do I want to watch John Cena as that character for a whole show? Probably not, unless you convince me. Then I might check it out.
I don't know how convincing.
Sell me.
I don't know how convincing I can be, but I'll just say this. I have a friend. He does. We do like the greatest movies of the year. My friend Al, and he was so against John Cena as an actor. He was just saying, "Oh, he's hanging on the coattails of The Rock," which is probably true. Same thing with Batista, probably true. But
why?
I don't know. I don't know. He just has his problems.
Okay.
But he was like, I'm so against John Cena as an actor. And I said, well, look, you got to give Peacemaker a chance. And now he's watching every John Cena movie John Cena's made because the Peacemaker show sold him.
Really?
You're not going to.
Okay.
You're not Don't expect a Suicide Squad type of show. If you're going,
I wouldn't.
Go for, because there is some action, but it's meant to be a comedy, and I think John Cena doesn't really do. Sometimes he does comedy well, but I don't think he's as funny as he thinks he is. But once he goes with the script, this show I thought was actually very well done. Because I also enjoyed the Suicide Squad. But Peacemaker, I was kind of like, I'll watch it, But every Friday, I was like, oh, man, I got to stop what I'm doing because a new Peacemaker episode's out. Like, it was one of those where it was like, oh, I have to watch the next episode. And they do a lot of cliffhangers.
You know what? I'm gonna watch the first couple episodes and I'm gonna see. But John Cena's fine. It's like you seen Daddy's Home too?
Yeah,
pretty funny.
He's all right.
He's fine.
Well, man, look, dude, I appreciate you coming back on the show. I know it's been a year. I couldn't really think of anything else to do, but and I honestly don't want to be like the person that every month, hey man, let's do an episode about this. Let's do an episode about this. You don't want to bother people, but you also don't want to hurt the audience in any way. So, but we're definitely in a couple of months. I'm going to think of the hardest games, and we'll do this again.
Yeah. Okay, we can do that.
All right, man. Look, go ahead and promote anything you got to promote, anything like that you want to do on the show.
I don't have anything.
You don't promote. Okay.
Not really.
Right. His YouTube link for the xChaseMoney will be in the link of the podcast. I'll put your Twitter down there. You have Instagram?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
actually started using it like 6 months ago, but I do.
Okay. All right. So all that will be in the description box below. Chase, I really do appreciate you, brother. Thanks for
Sir, I know you got to dip out.
thanks for being so nice, because there's a lot of people like you that are just, you have like a couple 100,000 subscribers, but some people that will go to their heads a lot. Like there's just a lot of people that's jerks, and you're one of those that I really do. I actually watch on YouTube and enjoy, not as much as I should. But I thank you for being nice and always wanting to do this for me. Never being the you make him off here and be like, I hate that motherfucker. But hey, you don't do it to me, so I'm fine.
Bro. No. You're good. I appreciate it, man. You know I'm like a DM away anyway, bro.
What now? What was that?
I said, I'm only like a DM away.
Yeah.
Anyway, shoot me a DM. I'll get back to you whenever I can. So.
All right, brother. Well, look, man, I appreciate it. I'm gonna jump off here, dude. Have a good one, man.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right, brother.